I have Joe Maver in the studio, ready for the real estate show. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Lucy. How are you today?
I am excellent. Thank you very much for a jam-packed morning, but, soldiering on.
Good on you. Actually, we've got a few topics to discuss this morning too.
Yeah, you've been enlightening me on a lot of topics.
Uh-huh.
Learning so much today, actually.
And that's the beauty about the program.
Exactly.
Is that's what I'm wanting to do, is also enlighten the listeners.
I'm becoming an expert week by week. It's really great. It's great for me. What have we got on today?
Okay, Lucy, we've got a thought of the week, so we'll get into that later. I'm also going to talk about changes to notifiable plumbing work. Also, stigmatised property. And I'm going to give a report on days on market.
Excellent. So stay tuned for that one. We're just going to play a song. We'll be right back after that. This is Bob Dylan with Mr. Tambourine Man. You're listening to 101.5 FM.
Good morning, listeners. This is Joe Maver, and we're listening to the real estate program this morning. So I thought I'd start the program with a publication out of the REIQ Journal in regards to changes to notifiable plumbing work. Okay, I don't know if listeners out there understand what that's all about, but what is notifiable work is that from 1st of November 2012, a new category of plumbing and drainage work called notifiable work will start. It will increase the scope of plumbing work that can be undertaken without the need for an approval or mandatory inspection. This will cut red tape and save time as well as money. Notifiable work will include most plumbing and drainage work performed in existing homes, including kitchen and bathroom additions and renovations, installing or replacing hot water heaters, including electric, solar or heat, plumb hot water heaters, installing fixtures such as toilets, showers and sinks in an existing home, and extending or altering pipe work. Notifiable work must be performed by a plumber or drainer licensed by the Queensland Plumbing Industry Council. Now, how will this benefit the homeowner? It will be cheaper and faster for most routine plumbing work to be performed in Queensland. Previously, plumbing work such as bathroom, kitchen renovations would have had to go through costly local government approval process, which could take up to 20 business days. Under the new process, a plumber or drainer simply has to notify the Plumbing Industry Council that this type of work has been performed within 10 business days of completing the work, so not prior. Certain types of work, however, such as plumbing and drainage for a new building, will still require application, assessment and authorisation by local government. Now, will the work be checked by authorities? To ensure that plumbing and drainage work continues to be performed at a high standard, both the Plumbing Industry Council and local government may audit notifiable work. A local government may contact the homeowner or their agent to arrange an inspection of work. If an owner or agent has concerns regarding the work that has been performed at a rental property, they may also contact the local government to arrange an inspection. So listeners, just be aware that new legislation coming out now, and make sure that if you do any alterations to the bathroom or anything else, talk to the plumber that you're employing to do the work and or the council, and see which category you fall under, because this may save you extra time and money. Doesn't that sound great, Lucy?
Does indeed.
All right.
I'm learning new things. It's great. You're listening to 101.5 FM. This is Fleetwood Mac.
Welcome back, listeners. Now, this segment I'd like to do is Thought of the Week. This is a buyer tip. Now, buyers out there, help the agent to help you find the right property when they ask questions. And we get this even in my office, that a lot of buyers get taken aback when we ask what kind of a budget they've got. Or what kind of a property they're looking for. Please don't do that, Mr. Buyer or Mrs. Buyer. Tell the agent everything that you can, because that helps the agent to find you the right property. That will save you time and money, and it will save the agent a lot of headache. So please bear in mind that the agent isn't trying to be nosy for their own purposes. They're being nosy to help you find your right property as fast as possible. So buyer tip, help the agent help you by answering his question. Hey Lucy, we're back again, eh?
We are indeed.
Now this morning I also thought I'd talk about Christmas.
Favourite time of the year.
Yes, it is, but not only the festive things, the more
serious things.
Exactly,
the things
Lucy.
that people often forget about.
That is mortgage and rent payments and things like that, because this is a real estate program. So I just thought we'd discuss. Now, I'm not a financial planner, but I come from the school of hard knocks. So I've learned a few lessons along the way, and I just want to help people out to start preparing now for Christmas, Lucy. And that is that if they've got a mortgage, they have to look at their credit card payments to make sure that they'll also be paid off on time, and people won't be earning extra, or the banks won't be earning extra money in interest, and that the mortgage repayments will be done on time, which will give them good credit rating for the future. So preparing now for Christmas to spend less later is a good thing, I think.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely. And even for people renting.
Yeah.
We all go out, we want to be happy, we want to buy gifts for people and do all those nice things, but we've got to bear in mind that there's only maybe so much income that we've got to spend. And keeping a roof overhead is very important. So tenants out there, hey Lucy?
Yeah.
Even if you can, put a little bit ahead now on your rental account so that you'll have a little bit of surplus there for later if you need to pay off bills that are unexpected after Christmas. Because in our office we do see that quite regularly, Lucy.
Yeah.
Where people, do overspend and they forget to budget for their rent, and then they fall behind, and it creates issues for them and also for the office, but mainly for them, because then it makes it harder.
Makes
on the
everything a
ledger.
bit more difficult.
Yes, yep. So starting to plan now. We're in November. Christmas is 2 months away. We want to have a good time, but plan your finances now, plan your credit card, plan your mortgage repayments, and plan your rent ahead to have a nice Christmas.
Be happier later.
Yes, and we can all celebrate with the surplus.
Yeah, definitely. You are listening to 101.5 FM. This is the Morning Magazine. Bernard Fanning with Wish You Well. You are listening to 101.5 FM. This is the Real Estate Show.
Okay, welcome back, listeners. A topic that I'd like to discuss, and I asked Lucy before if she knew anything about stigmatised property.
I had no idea I'd never even heard of the word when you told me before.
Yep, as a lot of people don't. So I just thought I'd just read a few little facts about it and bring people into the know, and maybe I can continue talking about it on a later program. But, okay, stigmatised property. What do you need to disclose to a prospective buyer from the real estate angle? Okay, agents will often be faced with situations where they will be aware of some features or attributes of a property which may detract from its appeal and prospective buyer or tenant. Now, I'm reading out of an article from the REIQ magazine, so this is what the article states. In this article, we examine some recent decisions involving stigmatised property which demonstrate the disclosure obligations of agents which may extend well beyond purely technical information about the properties they have been retained to sell or let. So I know we agents have to ask more questions, and owners have to be more forthcoming with information, be it detrimental or positive for their property. What is a stigmatised property? A stigmatised property is a property in which an undesirable event has occurred or is suspected to have occurred. A property may also be stigmatised if an undesirable event has occurred in its immediate vicinity. While the event itself may not have had a physical impact upon the property, stigmas may affect the way in which prospective buyers and tenants may feel about that property. Stigmas can be wide-ranging and include an untimely death, such as murder or suicide, the scene of a violent crime, undesirable or troublesome neighbours, environmental issues such as soil contamination or pollution, and or the presence of course, ghosts. Yeah. So, stigmatised properties have obligations, or the owners have obligations to disclose that to the agent and the agent to the buyer. And sometimes it is difficult because if that information isn't passed on and then found out in the media, it can create problems for the owner and also the agent. So there you go, Lucy, you've learnt a little bit more about stigmatised property.
I have. Now you mentioned just before neighbours, like ill-tempered kind of. But I wouldn't even have thought of that before when we were discussing it. I would have just thought of the crime and the, murders and death, but
yes,
in neighbours as well. It's interesting that you have to disclose that one as if they're
really bad.
If they're really horrible people. Yeah.
Well, I think most people know about the ones that are on current affair programs as such, but I do get asked that question a lot. You know, what's the neighbourhood like? Is it quiet or whatever else? Everyone is entitled to live their own style of lifestyle on their own property. But yes, if you do have a neighbour that has, say, a residential property and a motorbike where the children started at 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning regularly, or a noisy car or something like that, older people may not be fussed about that style of a property. So again, I mean, we as agents don't stand outside every property 24 hours a day to see what kind of environment is around it.
And most of the time it is like a lovely neighbourhood. But it's
yes, it is. But you do get some rowdy neighbours.
Yeah.
And also there's been an addition to the new contracts, Lucy, in now fencing disputes and so forth are actually listed on the contract.
Oh, okay.
So in the past, it was up to, the prospective buyer to ask the agent, are there any fencing issues at hand or in council or at court? Whereas now it's on the contract and we have to disclose that. So it's great because it does cover the owner and it covers the agent.
Yeah.
And then also the buyer knows that there's no issues arising from any fencing.
So everything's out in the open. It's much better that way.
Yes.
Have you ever sold a property with anything like that happen? Anything bad happened in it?
Stigmatised property? Personally, no. But we did make a sale last year through our office where a gentleman actually did commit suicide in the shed on a residential property. The owners were forthcoming and admitted that was the case. They obviously had everything cleaned up and you wouldn't have known that that was the problem. So we as agents could have passed it on as just an average property. But we did the right thing. We actually let all the buyers know, prospective buyers that went and inspected the property, that had actually happened. And we still sold the property at the right price, for the owner. And the buyers were aware of the whole situation and it didn't worry them. So again, horses for courses, everyone is different. Yeah. But as an agent, we do have obligations to let the buyers know as much as we know about the property.
Yeah, it's really important if you're the seller as well and you know about something that's happened to your house that you let your agent know and everything. Otherwise you can get into trouble.
Well, that's right. Some agents want to only spend half an hour talking to an owner about their property because, we're all screaming for time. I prefer to spend even an hour to 2 hours sitting down discussing their property, their lifestyle and whatever else, because a lot of things come into play. You learn a lot more about that property and you find out what the owner has found that's the best asset to that property for them, because then you can use that as a selling tool to actually help sell that property. So if the owners appreciated the big shady tree in the backyard and the kids love swinging on the swing that's hanging off one of the boughs, I mean, why not make that a feature?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So by just spending extra time talking to owners, you find out whether the property, and in most cases it won't be, but is a stigmatised property. But you also find out the good features and sometimes bad ones that you then can pass on to prospective buyers and be transparent and honest. And the industry has got a lot of good people working in it, so not all agents are bad, Lucy.
No, I've met a fair few lovely ones.
Well, thank goodness for that.
It's interesting stuff, though. Stuff you wouldn't normally think about.
That's right. That's right. And that's why I thought I'd bring it up, and I will continue the article in a further morning program.
Excellent. You are listening to The Morning Magazine on 101.5 FM.
Okay, welcome back, listeners. And now I'd like to talk about days on market. I thought I'd try to start this segment in my program just to let people know how long it's taking the average home to sell. So let's get started. We've got Caboolture. In September, it was 265 days on average, and now on the 29th of October, the statistics tell us it's taking 271 days to sell the average house. In Caboolture South, in September, it was 183 days, and now, 29th of October again, 186 days. So, again, it's taking a few extra days to sell. In Upper Caboolture, we've got September was 205 days, and now in October, it's 187 days. In Balmere, in September, the average home took 188 days to sell, and on the 29th of October, the stats were 190 days. Morayfield, September showed 196 days on average, but now in October, it has gone out a little bit to 205 days. In Ilimba, in September, it was 250 days on the market. On the 29th of October, it showed 283 days. So that's blown out by an extra month. In Beachmere, in September, the stats were 339 days, and 29th of August, it showed 350 days, nearly 1 year, Lucy,
Wow.
to sell the average home in Beachmere. Burpengary, these figures are nice. Burpengary, September, it was 146 days, and in October, 157 days. So that's gone out by just over a week. Now we're going to start also doing Donnybrook and other areas. So Donnybrook, the stats are now showing 395 days, Lucy.
That's a long wait.
It is. That's well over a year to sell the average property. In Torbal, Lucy, it's almost the same. It's 393 days. And in Meldale, this figure's not very nice, average is 449 days to sell. So people out, so people out in Donnybrook, Torbal and Meldale, unfortunately, it is a long wait. So I hope that's been informative to everyone. And we'll go on with another song, hopefully. Lucy, have you got something ready for us?
I do indeed. This is Cold Chisel for you. You're listening to 101.5 FM. Yes, you are listening to 101.5 FM, and this is The Property Show, talking to Joe this morning. I have a question for you, Joe.
Fire away.
You were talking a little bit before about how there was a couple of places that took over a year to sell properties.
Yes.
How quick can you sell property? Like, what's the average time that houses sell for you that you've found? Sorry, that was a bit of a badly formed sentence.
No, that's fine. Okay, so you're trying to get an idea, can houses be sold sooner than that? And the answer is yes. Okay, houses can be sold almost, within hours of being put on the market, because sometimes you can list the home and you've had someone waiting on your list that is looking for that property in particular, or that style of property, so you can make sale within hours. What we normally say to people, Lucy, is that it is important to price the property right, to put it out in the media with the correct advertising, right, the right price and the right pictures, because people are now waiting for alerts. Right, I mean, you're young in the technology age. Everyone has their iPads and phones, and they're waiting for the alerts to come in for a new listing.
Yep.
So within the first 3 weeks, probably 2 to 3 weeks, everyone that's been sitting looking for property and hasn't found the right one yet, one of those people sitting and waiting could be waiting for your home. So by pricing it right, they'll get the alert, and the sale could be made within days or weeks of listing. But that is not happening very commonly these days, and that's why we've had those blowout days of over a year, even in some areas. It also depends on the area, not everyone wants a particular area, so they take a little bit longer to sell. So different areas of the Shire are also selling faster than the Caboolture area, but that will flow on to us as well, Lucy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. Yeah.
It is, because, we've been able to sell property within days of listing, and so have some agents, but it's not the common thing. Yeah. Great. Yep. So, Lucy, thank you for asking that, and I hope the listeners did get what they needed out of that breakdown of suburbs with days on market, and I'll have another report in a month's time on this program as well to keep everyone up to date on what's going on in their area. Now, Lucy, we were also talking before about the Christmas preparation and people making sure they got sufficient funds for mortgages and tenants having enough money in their account to pay for rent. But one thing I did forget to mention is that banks have specific bank accounts that people can actually put money into for Christmas.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you said that you even have separate accounts where you save money for a project.
Absolutely. Well, you have to, otherwise I get behind on everything. Absolutely.
Yep, so it looks like the banks are trying to help the average person by saying, well, look, if you open a particular account and keep putting money into it, you can access it at a later time, and that may be a Christmas account or something like that, so that you will not have to find the extra money for presents, for holidays, for whatever else. So I think that's a good idea, and people should actually utilise those facilities if they can by going to their local branch and just asking the questions. Sounds good. Are you going to open up another one, Lucy?
Oh, I'm thinking of it. It is Christmas time.
It is Christmas, yeah. So between now and Christmas, we should talk more Christmassy things to do with real estate, hey?
Exactly.
Yep.
Spice it up a little bit.
We will do, Lucy. Alrighty. So I think I've covered almost everything for the program this morning.
Excellent.
Thanks for your input.
Oh, no problem. I've learned a lot. Hopefully everybody else has as well.
Oh, great. Yes, yeah. That's what we hope to do, hey, is to inform people. And anyway, I'm going to sign off, and I'll talk to you again next week, Lucy, because I'm on again next week.
Oh, we'll see you next week. Look forward to it.
Great.
Thank you very much for coming in this morning.
Thanks, Lucy, and thank you, listeners.